All right, so Miguel is now in the game, and I pulled him in my video yesterday where I broke down his full kit. So what I'm going to mention in this video, as I did basically break down his full kit, is basically just the highlights, and then we'll talk about it as we go in the showcase, which I would like to do it in Tower. Now, Miguel is a sort of debuffer that has high longevity in terms of just staying relevant for two reasons. Number one, because he works off the enemies. The enemies, if they have buffs and he could basically reduce their turns and reduce the amount that the buff gives, then that's great. But second of all, Ghetto just got the biggest buff I've ever seen in pretty much a lot of gachas. And if they give that to Miguel next year when they bring Bandage Gojo, like that's going to be insane, right? It's going to be really good. So his main thing is, for example, on the skill 3, what he's doing is he decreases the value of 2 of the enemy's buffs by 30%. So let's say it's a 50% damage reduction buff. Well, now it's a 20% damage reduction buff. We could apply this here, right here. Apply damage reduction buff to self when turn starts. Miguel would be able to lower that. And then he could also, besides just lowering the value on the skill 3, reduce the turn count by 1 for that, okay? Now his ult does a similar thing, but even better, where it decreases the value by 50%, and then also reduces the turn count by 2. So it's going to make it so that they might do less damage, or might also just remove the buffs completely. So I would definitely say that this is a pretty good ability to have, and I would like to put it to the test. Now, after this video, what I will be doing is showing Miguel and Ghetto together, buffed Ghetto. But for this video, we're going to be using Blue Gojo because I don't want to spoil you guys with too much showcases of new units in one. So we're going to be using Blue Gojo with it, and we'll see how exactly we do in Tower with Miguel. Keep in mind, this is a level 91 Miguel, so it's going to be a rather weak Miguel, all things considered, at least for JP standards, as now we could get it up to level 140. But hey, we're going to have fun with it, and we'll just hop right into that. I would like to try something like this. Well, maybe not Mahito. I don't know what I would replace Mahito with. Maybe we could put Ghetto here. I'm not going to go too crazy with Ghetto. But essentially, let me also change this to the adult time. Yeah, we could change it. Do I have it? We'll keep this. We'll keep this. So basically, what this team's doing, alt gauge increase 200%. Then this one, when at the start of the battle, it's a free 200. Now, when he uses the ability, it's a 10% Jujutsu for 1 turn. Or for 5 turns once. Now this is an alt gauge increase by 10% for 1 turn at the beginning of battle, 10% there, and then this is another alt gauge increase, right? So 30%, 10%, how much is this? 200 alt gauge and then 200. We'll see how quick Gojo gets it, but then we're also going to see how Miguel could essentially work, right? Because if there's no buffs on the enemy, it doesn't really matter too much, right? So we do have to keep that in mind. So we're going to kind of see what exactly we could kind of work with, right? For Miguel, from what I know though, it's going to be a bit hard to find ones that really are going to be good for us, right? Like I said, he works more in the higher floors where there is damage reduction to remove, right? Also on floor 57, I'm pretty sure. No, sorry, 56. I don't remember. Oh yeah, 56. Here, there's also more damage reduction, right? So that's something to keep in mind, that there is that also. So we're going to see where I take him into, and we'll try to make use of him. Remember, his main thing really is that damage reduction. Well, basically just lowering any amounts of buffs is basically what we have to kind of strive towards. So we're going to be going in here, all right? Oh, bro, I love his voice actor actually cooked. So also a skill 2 is a taijutsu increase and gives himself damage reduction up to 60%, but you're not going to get it usually because he needs to have high cursed energy, but we don't really have any units to give him that cursed energy, and he doesn't give it to himself. So we do have to take that all into account. So alt gauge increase, we don't need to use that. We could just damage increase. Now for this, there's no buffs on them, right? No buffs, okay? So we're just going to buff himself. And then we'll see how much his damage reduction is there. More alt, and then he's going to buff. So let's see how much this gives us without doing much. Another 200? Yeah, look at that. Or, well, not, sorry, it wouldn't be 200 there. But we should get it in 1 turn, no? I think so. Oh, the poison's going to probably hurt us. So I should have waited with Momo 1 turn, and we would be good. So, okay, for this skill 3, remember, it nullifies attack nullification, which we can't really use yet. Okay, decreases the value of 2 buffs. Okay, does some damage, but the problem is if there's no buffs, it's just not really good. So in terms of the damage reduction, it was, is it that one? I think it was. Oh, it's this. So it's 22%. You got a 22% damage reduction buff, which is overall pretty good, right? It is pretty good. If we could get Gojo's ult here, I mean, we could maybe get it a second time. We'll see. We could ult now. Yeah, we could ult now. We're going to do this. Ult and, oh, wait. Why did I use Miguel's? I apologize. I forgot that it's not that one. So there's no buffs on this specific, this team, right? So I'm going to have to try to find one that they have buffs and we could do it on. Because it's kind of hard, right? It is hard to find something unless you're going to the end floors. So that's something we have to keep in mind. I don't know if we're going to kill, but we should do good damage. Oh, okay. We do. Nice. Okay. So obviously Miguel is not a DPS. Now let me try to, bro, I'm gonna have to go scrounging to find something where a bunch of buffs are applied. Oh my god. So I definitely have to like make sure you guys realize that it is a very niche thing what Miguel is doing because we don't have too much of that just yet. But the thing is, this for like the people who are past floor 50 is going to be huge, that you're just going to be able to what's it called, just going to be able to lower the damage reduction and shit like that. So does he have the buff built in? No. Okay, so it is just built in. Yeah, that is a bit of the problem because with this floor, basically he gets damage increase depending on like how high or low his HP is, right? So we won't really see much of that in this one, but it's very interesting to see also just how he's able to reduce damage. Like it's pretty nice. It is pretty nice, all things considered. Like it's crazy though also because Miguel, like you could just let Gojo cook, and with that recollection, but like look at how much Gojo gets, right? That's something. Okay, here's a buff. Here's a buff that we could see. So now then, this is actually good. So it's a 15% damage reduction buff, and what is it? 1 turn left, 3 more times. Okay, so I would just like to see how it works. Like, does he remove it just outright? Because that would be very good if you think about it, right? Okay, so we'll use this, not with that. So we're gonna put this on him, and the buff should just leave. Let's see, because it's a one turn buff, but does it leave? I don't think it left. Did it? Let's see. Because it's gone, but I don't know what it was gone from. That's the problem, where we need to find out what exactly makes it, what's applicable with it. So we're gonna, yeah, we'll do this. And also Miguel's the first unit to where there's a timer count for like a cooldown for actually being able to use it, which is very interesting. I wonder if we're even able, like with this team, to maybe get, what's it called? The ult twice with Gojo. That would be interesting, but I don't think we can. Anyway, it doesn't kill. Okay, that 3 million and it doesn't kill. Okay, so now he has buffs. And I would like to see how long. Is it just permanent? Okay. I mean, that's the problem, is I don't think these are removable. Cannot be removed. Okay, so that is where it does come into play, where a lot of these buffs that you're going to see, besides that first one, right? I believe the first one, we were able to remove it. It's just, I don't know the visual, like, the setup for it, essentially. That's my main thing. So, all right, there we go. And let's see what happens now. We're going to combo with these two and just hope for the best with Gojo. Right, we have Ghetto, if anything. Doesn't really matter. And I need to get my ult in, obviously, because I need to see... Well, Miguel's damage is not really important to me. Like, it does not do damage, but that's not horrible, all things considered. Like, I didn't know recollection bit. That did, what, like 700k? 600? I don't really mind that. About, okay, I would say like closer to 600k. Obviously, Gojo just does that, like, just easily, but still. I think the ability for him to... Oh, no. The ability for him to apply his damage reduction, to be able to take some hits, in case he does, is not bad. But it's not all that should be on a unit, for sure. Like, we're trying to look at him crit... Oh, he does get his ult twice. Obviously, he was the only unit targeted. But, yeah, Gojo could get his ult twice with all these recollection bits. So that's another thing with Miguel's banner, is it's not just... it's not just him. It's his recollection bit on the banner that's fucking busted to allow this to happen. 2 blue Gojo ults without Inumaki is insane. Like, we're just using a normal team, and then we're able to do this, right? So, yeah, I mean, big W there. I would definitely say that yeah, we need to, man, I really wish I was at floor 60 now. So I'm probably going to have an updated, what's it called, Miguel showcase at some point. But overall, I really don't mind what Miguel's putting out. It's just, I would very much like to see someone who buffs himself and like we get good buffs. So we'll go into this. I'll just see if there's any buffs that I could mess around with. Now, just to show, for example, this buff cannot be removed / weakened. So I want to keep in mind that a lot of these buffs that you're gonna see, like this one too, when it shows this icon, it cannot be removed / weakened. So I definitely think it's important to get the full context here. So we'll wait and see if there's any other buffs that go through. But for right now, I mean, we could kind of see it is rough when we see stuff like that, right? So a lot of these buffs, I mean, obviously it's not buffs that you could really, it really doesn't make sense for Miguel to remove it anyway. But still, we want to see just like, okay, so it's just a taunt buff. Okay, so I really don't think, oh my god. Okay, after this, I'm just going to spend a good like 10 minutes trying to see if there's a stage that has removable ones and how exactly it's going to work. So let's just do this and this. I think it's just nice to see also how the new recollection works. This serves as much for Miguel as it does for the recollection bit, right? Miguel's damage ain't all that, but he has an interesting gimmick that I'm going to try to explore a bit further now and in future videos. So I hope you guys, if you do want to see more from Miguel, obviously I don't think he's the hypest unit, but still, you know, it's good to know. So yeah, bro, it's just insane. You get it so quick, right? And you could just spam it. For Blue Gojo, with that recollection bit, Miguel, not Miguel himself, but having that recollection bit is huge. Now, I'm really starting to see a pattern that a lot of these buffs are just unremovable, lowerable. So it's like, it's a bit weird, but I'll see. I think this guy does have some buffs, so hopefully. Now then, this is another point against him, which very much, like, it's starting to confuse me. Like, I'm going through this, and it's like, okay, where is he supposed to be used, right? That's my main thing. Like, he's able to tank, obviously, he is, in this video, he's been getting targeted a lot, but he's able to tank decently well. It's just, what is his overall point of being there? Because if we see here, there is buffs on them, but once again, they are you can't remove them, uncancelable. So we do all we do this, right? I put this, which should do like it should. Well, on the buffs that it's able to, it will lower their turn count and then lower the amount that it is able to be there. But of course, because like this is the main buff, right? That's the one problem. But it's a buff that doesn't really leave. So because of that, it won't be removable, which is like, okay, then it's like, when are you able to get buffs that you can remove, right? Now, man, I really do think that we could be headed in a meta that requires it. But like, as for right now, it's like, when you try to find it this hard and there's just not really much of a place, it definitely does sour the unit a little bit. So yeah, I think the more I go through this, I think it's more and more evident that there's just not many buffs that you could really get rid of. So in terms of tower, as of right now, it's definitely not as useful as I think a lot of people that I've talked to and just myself like thought it would be, right? So Miguel to me is an okay unit, okay? Just looking at everything, I would definitely say he's probably A tier, like low A, high B is where I'm rating him as of right now, because he's still able to stay alive pretty long. I mean, he was getting hit a lot and was still doing decent enough. His damage is not that good, and if you do find any buffs, then you are going to be able to kind of mess around with that. It's just, as of right now, it's just not in play to really see that many buffs that you could really remove or tinker with. So I would definitely say when that does come into play, he will be good. The problem is it's not right now. But what we could definitely say positive for this video is this recollection bit. I mean, you put this, you have the godly combo with this alt gauge increase. This is a free-to-play one, okay? Non-standard, good luck getting it. And then obviously this one. Like, those four together are really good. Really, really good. So that is nice to actually see, though, especially for Blue Gojo. I just don't think, overall, I would definitely say that whenever Miguel comes to Global, he probably is unfortunately going to be a skip. But we could always hope that the buff we get of Miguel next year, which is probably how they're going to go about it, is going to be busted. But obviously for right now, definitely not the craziest. Damage is not anything to really talk about, I'd say. But with that, I'm done the video. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. below. And also, I will definitely make another video if you guys have any tower floors that you know it could be useful on. Okay, I was just showing a bunch of tower floors, a bunch of the blue type advantage, right? Because listen, I showed somewhere they were type disadvantage to see, but most of the time you want them to be ran on type advantage, right? So because of that, it's important to see the blue type advantage, and there was not many that there was buffs you could remove, lower their turn count, or lower the percentage. So with that, I'm done. This is Miguel's Fire Art. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.